Time for the Joker review. Everyone's been asking me for it. I've got a lot of messages, especially yesterday after a lot of you guys have seen it, asking my thoughts and opinions, and I wanted to make sure I saw it twice before I actually gave my input. First of all, please do not take your kids to see this movie because last night I saw a bunch of parents with a bunch of look like 9-year-olds, and they were walking out of the movie way differently than when they went in the movie. They were all pumped and jazzed, and then they came out looking like they were mentally broken. So don't take your kids. Second item, stop comparing this movie to Taxi Driver. The people that are comparing this movie to Taxi Driver have never seen King of Comedy. This movie is a lot more like King of Comedy than any movie I've seen before. And in fact, I would even say a movie like Eyes Wide Shut, with the colors and stuff, especially in the second half of this movie, has more in common with this movie than Taxi Driver. Okay, at no point does Joker hang out and make friends with a young prostitute girl or drive her around. So it's like because there's one thing where he shoots someone. There's a lot of movies where people get shot in New York. Doesn't mean they're based on Taxi Driver. So stop comparing it to Taxi Driver. And if you want to see a real good movie, go watch King of Comedy. Okay, now let's get into the movie part. From the opening scene, I absolutely loved it. The first shot we get is one of the things that we've probably seen the most in the trailer, and it's just him putting on his makeup, and we're in a tight close up, and we get to see you get to tell a lot from his mind just in the very first part, and then I love all the old school font, love all the shots, and I love all the music. I haven't stopped listening to the soundtrack. I would have it playing now if I wouldn't get flagged, but you gotta listen to the soundtrack and just enjoy that too if you like this movie or once you see the movie. But overall, I'm not going to go over every scene or anything. I'm just going to talk a little bit about some of my favorite things. I love that, especially in the very beginning, you can see there's something behind his eyes that is very evil. Even when he's trying to maintain the illusion of sanity and still trying to be a normal person at this part or at this time of the film. And yeah, especially like when his boss is talking to him, and it's just that prolonged close. It's a prolonged shot where it's zooming in on his face, and whatever's behind his eyes, I don't ever want to meet or see because that was intense. It was creepy. And if you're watching this movie, you might notice like the whole time you're watching, you're just like you're tense. My body felt like I had it flexed for 2 hours straight. Not Arthur flexed, but flexed. Now, there's a couple of really good scenes in the beginning. I like that after he's stomping in the garbage in the alley after his boss fires him. There's a big old carnival on the back, or a Ferris wheel. I thought, ooh, are we going to get to see that? But we didn't, and I don't care. This is a spoiler review. If you haven't seen the movie, go see it. Don't complain down here. Just go see the movie. Yeah, okay. If you've seen King of Comedy, you would know a little bit about the hints of the illusions or the visions. I know that they hint at it when he's on the talk show, the Murray Franklin show at the very beginning. But I still was, they still got me a little bit with the Zazie Beetz stuff. I didn't think that that was all an illusion, but I love it. Not an illusion. In his brain. I like that. I like that in the movie they didn't make it very clear whether or not Joker actually was Thomas Wayne's kid, or if he was adopted, because you hear two stories, and both could be very true. Because Thomas Wayne has tons of power, he could easily have made it look like Arthur was adopted and it wasn't his kid. He has plenty of money as well, and he has the resources, which that could have also driven Arthur's mom insane. Just the fact that no one believed her, that no matter what she does, that Thomas, isn't going to claim Arthur, and there's nothing she could do about it. So that's the way she could have gone crazy. Or she could have actually been crazy all along, and just like Thomas Wayne said, just like we got to see a little bit of Alfred, almost got choked out. But I love that whole part of the story is muddied. There's no definitive answer. The mom could have been crazy from the very beginning, lying about Thomas getting her pregnant, lying about the fact that she even had any relationship at all, and in fact, abused Arthur since an adopted kid. Or, again, she could have actually had an affair with Thomas Wayne and he's just covering it up because he's has the resources to, and in that way she could start going crazy because no one believes her. So either way, it's of whatever you decide and whatever you think upon watching it. But I love that they did that. It's not a definitive answer still. You don't know what's going on with the Joker. And if he is an adopted kid, you still don't know who his mom is. It says he was abandoned. So I love that. The second half of the movie with the visuals and all the colors. Anytime when we see the talk show, I just want to be an audience member in there and live in that talk show. The colors are so dreamy. Every shot is beautiful. There's a lot of symmetrical shots, a lot of close-ups, a lot of low angles, a lot of high angles. I really feel like almost every single frame of this movie, if you pause it, is a masterpiece shot or like a poster you'd want in your room. Also, I like that we got to see a little bit of Bruce, and it was just enough. It wasn't overdone, but that was cool. I like seeing... Okay, I'll do some of my favorite parts. Favorite scene of all is I like when he's in the white face in his apartment, and his couple clown buddies come, and that whole scene is when the movie, I feel like, is okay. Strap in, we're going. And then from then on out, we get full on Joker, I believe. In terms of the way that we see Bruce's parents die, I did think that Joker was gonna kill him at first, but I'm glad that he didn't. I like that it's just the actions inspired by him. But if you notice, he gets hit by a car and he's knocked out. Okay, Joker's knocked out. His newly acquired thugs pull him out of the car, and they put him on the hood. And then that's when we see his other thug go into the crime alley, don't know what it's called here, and shoot Bruce's parents. When Bruce's mom gets shot and she goes down, that's the instant that Joaquin Phoenix's Joker wakes up. So at the moment Batman is created with his parents shot, Joker has arisen and got back. I love it. I love it. There's a lot to look for in this movie, and upon 2 viewings, I was flexed the whole time the second time viewing. It was so intense, and seeing it with a different crowd, because the first day on a Thursday, those are the diehards. Those are like me, you probably watching this review. Those are the diehards that want to see Joker first, so they were loving it. And then Friday night, that's like the general audience, and the people are like, oh, what do you want to do tonight? Oh, I hear Joker's playing. You want to go see that? With no mental preparation of what they're about to see. And so to hear some of the people gasp and seeing moms cover children's eyes and all that sort of thing, like, this movie is not for the faint of heart. But again, the reason it's good and why people are relating to it is because it's true, okay? People have mental illnesses like this, probably a lot more than you even realize. And probably not to this extreme, but I'm sure that there are going to be people that can relate to the feelings like that. So I think it's good that we see something like that sort of character study on screen, just to know and remind ourselves, like, every action we take on any other person can have not just us. It doesn't just affect us. It can affect them in many ways. It can affect other people with how they react to what you said. So choose your words carefully, people. Choose the way you act carefully. Choose how you present yourself carefully. But I don't think this movie's dangerous. Not in the slightest. I like that you could watch a Dateline on a Friday night and see something just as twisted or crazy. Sure, they don't show it in graphic violence, but I mean, hearing what some of these people do on like a Dateline is just as crazy as seeing anything in this film. There's nothing over the top violent that like wasn't in a Tarantino movie at the end of Once Upon a Time. There's no Hostel level violence. I heard someone say that there's Hostel level violence. Like, I hope not, and there wasn't, so don't worry about that. And yeah, it was a fun time, intense movie. Don't go in thinking it's going to be a shut your brain off movie, because it's not. It's intense. But that's my review. I loved it. I think it was a Shakespearean event. You have a Shakespearean character who's been portrayed many ways. You had an actor who was brave enough to try something. Even I don't know how I would be if I was Joaquin Phoenix. Like, how do you act like that on camera? be brave enough to do that kind of stuff. Blew my mind. I think that he's my Joker now. I Heath Ledger was cool. Jack Nicholson was cool, but we never got a 2-hour concentrated dose of them. And when they were in Batman films, that's all you ever wanted to see anyway. It was like the villains. Like Batman's cool and all, but most of the time the villains got front billing. So even in Dark Knight, every time Heath was on screen, you're like, give me more, and it just wasn't enough. But this is 2 hours of it, and again, cinematically, it's beautiful. Colors beautiful. You feel like you're immersed in the world. And yeah, I think that you need to just enjoy this. If you say it's not comic accurate, Batman '89 wasn't comic accurate. Joker killed his parents. He didn't kill him in the comics. Batman Begins and the Dark Knight trilogy, not comic accurate. That was set in the real world and basically a what if Batman were to exist as real as possible. That's what I think of the Dark Knight trilogy. So I don't care if it's comic book accurate. Dark Knight Returns, one of the most beloved comic books in history. It's not part of canon. It's Elseworlds. The Killing Joke. Hey, The Killing Joke, not part of canon. It's supposed to be a one-shot. So some of the best Batman stories you've ever had are not part of canon. So just enjoy it. Watch it for what it is. Enjoy the art. Enjoy the beauty of the shots. And really think about what you're watching, because it's pretty deep. So I hope you enjoy, and I'll talk to you later.